I hope everyone can see my screen. So, as you all know, C management requires significant amounts of work. With continued expansion of the digital estate, security engineers face many challenges. Deciding which logs to bring into the product, configuring analytic rules across all the data to detect and respond to threats, stay ahead of the evolving threats in this very, very dynamic landscape, and of course, managing the costs of large volumes of data and balancing the investment of, again, whether it's cost, whether it's efforts, whether it's your work, with the outcome of great security coverage, detection, and response. We believe that security engineers need and want guidance to identify the opportunities to optimize their security operations. We are aware that there are a lot of optimization processes that happen all the time in the SOC. Reviewing of which logs, again, to bring in, what is being used, how, what's the quality of the rules, etc. And we would like to offer you guidance in this one place where you can see how to optimize your processes right out of the box. SOC optimization is a tailored guidance to ensure that you are maximizing the value from your data, you're improving your protection, detection, and response, and at the same time, you're managing your costs. So everything is well in place and balanced, as I mentioned before. We would like to do this for you inside our product and help you and guide you through those processes based on our security knowledge here in Microsoft and our understanding of your environment. Our aim is to better utilize Microsoft security tools by, first of all, extracting more value, meaning do more with less. You're ingesting data into the product, you have logs in there. We want to make sure you maximize the value you get from those. We would like to help you optimize your SOC processes and outcomes to fit your specific needs, your specific environment, your specific stack and risk, and do so in an accelerated manner. And bring together the power of out-of-the-box and full flexibility. So basically allowing you to gain visibility to out-of-the-box content that is relevant to you and allow you the full flexibility to make the changes we recommend or not, or at least use this as a conversation starter in your organization in a very, very straightforward way. This is a great quote from one of our private community customers who have tried this feature in the private preview that was mentioned before. I will let you read it, but basically the value from this experience is instant. So once you go into this experience, whether you are on our Azure portal or the new unified portal, you will see recommendations tailored to you, and I will talk about this tailoring in a moment, that are surfaced right away. They're there waiting for you. So what are we optimizing? These are the 4 categories we invest in at the moment. This is not like a closed final list, because as we evolve this feature more and more, we will address more problems and more pain points, I assure you. So first of all, security coverage. Coverage recommendations that allow the detection of all relevant attacks across the digital estate as early in the kill chain as possible. This is something all of us would like to see optimized, right? Second of all is return on investment. So only logs with security value are ingested. They're ingested into the correct tier and making the security to cost ratio optimal. Meaning if you have logs that are not being used for security value and we don't have any recommendation for you to use them for security value, we will give you visibility to that and we will recommend changes in ingestion or adding more more analytic rules and so on. We will dive deeper into this later. Efficiency and efficacy. So all real attacks are detected, false positives are reduced, respond with context and the ability to investigate and remediate quickly. Again, if security coverage was, let's say, the input to the SIM, the efficiency and efficacy are the output, the Q. We would like to see this efficient, and this leads us to the fourth category, which is time. We would like you to be onboarded fast. We would like processes to be quick and efficient, and of course, relevant, and that all your controls are adjusted to the risk, threats, and stack fast. So how do we do it? We deliver insights that are accessible, actionable, tailored, and value-based. What does that mean? Accessible means this is inside the product. You can find this new blade, as I said, in both portals, and it's as easy as that. You can see the recommendations there. They're being calculated every 24 hours. So if you visit this experience after this webinar, they were calculated today, and they're being updated every day. This is important. Second is tailored. So we make sure that what we surface in this experience is based on your environment. Meaning, for example, if we say that you have a gap in security usage of a specific log, it's because we analyzed the specific usage of your organization of those logs. So the gap is specific to you and is tailored to you. Another aspect of tailored is that if you decide that a specific recommendation is not relevant to you, we will not surface it again. Actionable, and you will see this in the live demo, each recommendation has an action. You are always 1 or 2 clicks away from bridging the gap. So whether it is direct integrated access to the Content Hub for adding rules, whether it is going to log analytics to change ingestion, you're 1 or 2 clicks away, and there's always a very, very clear action. Last, but of course not least, it's value-based. So when we show you a way to optimize your SOC, your processes, your security controls, we always surface the value. Again, right there in the product. So we let you know how this is going to improve your security coverage, your efficiency, your ROI, as mentioned before. So what you see here is a screenshot of the experience as it looks in the unified portal. It looks roughly the same, and Jeremy will show you differences in the Ibiza portal as well. And what you have in this experience are those top metrics that we will show later, and cards. And those cards surface what we said. They surface the gap, they surface the value, and they surface the action. The existing recommendations dynamically address those security needs, so they update it every day. They speed up your time to value, so less time spent on discoverability, on manual processes and analysis, and so on. It's meant to help you reduce costs. So if there are data logs, as I said, that you're not currently using or are not managed in the right tier, then we will give you visibility to that as well. And last, improves coverage. So threat-based recommendations that I will dive deeper to in a second. They help identify rules and data sources needed to improve protection against specific types of attacks. So threat-based optimizations, they are based on Microsoft Security Research Insights. They focus on specific attack scenario. Here you can see, for example, the back financial fraud. We have human-operated ransomware, AITM attacks. I won't tell you everything, so you can go to the experience and check it out for yourselves. They show the gap between the required detections and the existing detections in the workspace. We show you, as you can see on the screenshot on the right, sort of a spider map that shows you the gap between the existing detections in your workspace and the required detections in the workspace. And it's closely integrated with Content Hub to bridge that gap. So you're one click away from seeing those detections and in enabling them in your workspace if you choose to do so. The other type of recommendation, and as I said, this is not a final list. These are the two types of recommendations currently in public preview, gives you visibility to data usage patterns for billable tables. So for each table that you're paying for ingestion, we'll give you visibility to your usage patterns. Usage patterns are roughly divided between low usage, meaning you're using these logs for investigation, but not for detection. And no usage means you're not using them at all. And we also have monitoring usage, which means only Azure Monitor is using this table. Now, Jeremy will dive deeper in the demo, but each type of usage pattern can lead to different actions. So an action can be utilize these logs better, it can be change the plan and tier, and so on. We would like to make sure that for ingested logs that have security value, you're leveraging them for detections. If you don't see security value in those logs, then we surface this as well. There is a close integration with Content Hub for discovery of how to leverage these logs, and close integration with Analytics Wizard for configuration of those rules. Last but not least, we have an API that fully supports this experience. It's currently in preview, and it can give you one view of all the recommendations and also a view when needed across workspaces. So for example, if you would like to see if there are common logs that are not being used across workspaces or mutual security gaps in the threat-based recommendations, which tables don't provide the needed ROI, you can look at it, and Jeremy will show you how through the API and get a lot of information that is needed, and of course sync this with other systems you might have in your organizations where you initiate conversation with other teams in the organization. It can be of course used for workbooks and sync with other case management processes, and this will be also demoed in a moment. So let's see it in action. I pass it to you, Jeremy.
Thank you, Michal, for the detailed explanation of that feature. So now I will walk you through on the live demo. Hopefully, you all can see my screen. Now, as Michal mentioned, this feature is available in both the Unified Portal and also the Sentinel Portal in Azure. And the main difference here is in the Unified Portal. You will find there's a banner over here where it will provide the recent optimization value, the data ingestion trends, the threat-based coverage optimization, and also optimization status. Whereas in the Sentinel Portal, you will find the total ingestion size for the last 3 months. You will also find the threat-based optimization scenarios and also the optimization status, but they are all in the Azure Portal layout. And also want to highlight that in the Unified Portal, in the home screen, there is the summary card over here, where you find the summary of the optimization as well. So that means for customers who are onboarded to the unified SOC platform, they'll see this feature in the unified portal. But for customers who are on Sentinel only, they will also find this feature in the Sentinel portal. So as you could see in this in the SOC optimization blade, you have 3 tabs over here. So under the overview tab, you will find recommendation cards, mainly the active and in progress recommendations. So when the new recommendation is being added, they will be in active stage. And of course, you could mark it as in progress. For example, if I have a team of a few members who will be looking at the optimization blade, it's good to mark those as in progress if you are working on it, so that you could distinguish some of the recommendations that maybe someone is working on, rather than everyone might be looking at the same recommendation. And also there's this completed tab where you find completed recommendation. Now, a recommendation can be marked as completed either automatically by the optimization calculation, or it can be marked manually by the user as well. So as you can see over here, there is this info icon next to completed status. So here it says that the optimization engine detected changes in the environment, indicates that this could be marked as completed. So for this specific table, previously I didn't have any rules deploy, and once I deploy, when the calculation runs every 24 hours, it detected the changes and it marks as complete. But of course, as I mentioned, you could also mark a recommendation completed manually as well. If there are any recommendations which are not relevant in your environment, you could also dismiss it. So here, once you mark as dismissed, it will move to the dismiss tab. And you also have the options to reactivate it in the future if you needed to. So for so currently the feature is in public preview. So there are 2 optimization types available, as you could see under the filters. So we have the data value optimization, and also the threat-based optimization, which is also known as coverage. Since the feature is available in 2 portals, I will first walk you through the data value optimization in the Sentinel portal in Azure, and followed by the coverage optimization in the unified portal, just to showcase the experience. So as I said, they both portals offer the same capabilities, just that there's a bit of differences in terms of the layout, which I've mentioned earlier. Now, as explained by Michal earlier, for data value optimizations, we will showcase tables that will provide actionable recommendation. So here, the data value optimization will look at your viewable tables for the last 30 days. And based on the observation, so there are 3 main observations that you will detect and provide with actionable recommendation. The first one would be the low usage tables. So as you can see over here, so low usage means there's no detection rules created for that specific table. The tables might be used for, let's say, hunting queries or workbooks, for example, right? But there's no analytics rule created. So that's considered as low usage. It could be no usage as well. So no usage, as the name suggests, means the table it's not being used for any, like, it's not being used for detection. It's not being queried, for example, right? And that's why we'll surface these insights under soft optimization. And another scenario would be also similar to low usage, but when there's a table only used by Azure Monitor, right? It's not being used for, let's say, detections or even hunting query for Sentinel. So we will also surface that insights for the user. Now, let's first examine one of the example over here, just to show you how it looks like. So over here, I have a table called email URL info. So let's say this is a table that I needed for my investigation, right? So I also need it for a long-term retention, right, for the table. So I ingest into Sentinel. I didn't create any detection rule. Maybe I wasn't aware about it. As I said, the main use case for me is to perform hunting, right? So let's see what the recommendations able to provide me with the information. So first of all, you'll be able to find the descriptions. So as you can see, the optimization engine observed that, hey, there's no detection rule created, right, being used in the last 30 days. I also will get the volume, right, the size of the table for the last 3 months. And then we have this actionable, recommendation. So which is we detected that, hey, for this specific table, they are actually out of box detection rule, which you could deploy, right, to get immediate benefit for it, right? As Michal mentioned earlier, the ROI, right? So we provide you a link that bring you to the Content Hub. So you might recognize this page, right, which is similar, you find it in your Content Hub. So here I can find that, hey, I have 3 out-of-box detection rules, which I could deploy. So you can see over here that I already have one of them installed, but I haven't activated it yet. I haven't created it as a rule, so that's why there's this warning icon. Whereas the remaining 2 rules, I would need to install them and activate it. Now, sometimes for detection rules, there might be dependency of parser. So that's why there's this the banner over here to remind you of that. And for this specific recommendation, there are only 3 detection rules available. But sometimes you might have tables we have more out-of-box detection rules to recommend. And if you want to know what are the common ones, the most popular rules, right? So there's this filtering options for you to select to view the most popular ones so that you could focus on those, right? Instead of everything in one go. So that's the first example for low usage. There's also, I want to show you another example, which is also for low usage. So you saw that earlier, we have out-of-box detection rule, right? That will provide you with immediate benefits, right? To improve the ROI. There might also be cases where there's no out-of-box detection rule. Of course, customer can create their custom detection rule, but for this scenario, let's say, for this specific table, is supported for basic logs, which is a cheaper ingestion plan. So we will provide that recommendation. So as you can see here, this specific table is supported for basic log. So the recommendation is, hey, if you don't need it, since you don't have detection rule created, maybe you don't need it for detection. So why not change it to a cheaper ingestion tier? So here we provide a direct link to the table settings so that you could change the table plan to basic without leaving this soft optimization blade. Okay. So besides low usage recommendations, as what Michal mentioned earlier, there's also no usage, right? So no usage. which means this is not being used at all. So let me show you here one of the example. Now for this example, I actually have this table which I need to store the logs for a long-term period. I do not need it for detection. So this is mainly for my compliance purposes, for example. And I actually already have this table configured as basic tier. So you could see that the recommendation say, hey, okay, so you're not using it at all. So maybe for compliance purposes, right? But you could see that it provide me with recommendation, right? With the options that, hey, perhaps you could configure the archive, right, of the table, or maybe you could stop the ingestion at all if you don't need it, right? So it's provide me with the option and suggestion so that I could cross-check with my needs. So of course, he also said that, hey, pay attention if you are using it for compliance purposes, then of course, right, this might not be something that you want to do, which is to stop the ingestion. So for me, it's good to know these suggestions, and it's good to have those insights surface. So let's say, hey, I have checked the archive settings. I know that, hey, I need this for compliance purposes. So what I'm doing now is I acknowledge that, and I just mark it as dismiss, because I really need that data. Now, the previous example that I showed, you only have one suggestions. You saw that in the slides earlier, right? It could be more than one suggestions, right? So I'm gonna show you one of them just to let you see how it looks like. So let's say for this specific table, again, there's no usage. So over here is giving me two suggestions, right? So one is we have the out-of-box detection rule, and the other one is the changing the table plan, right? So user could decide based on their scenario, based on their use case, to take the further action. So that was the data value optimization. So next, I will switch gear to talk about the coverage optimization. So as I mentioned, I will show you in the unified portal, which probably is the same, but I just want to show you in different portal to let you know how it looks like. Now for the threat-based coverage optimization, as you saw from the slides earlier, it came from our Microsoft Security Research Insights. And today we have 6 threat-based scenarios available. So those are the common ones, as you're probably familiar with, like obviously in the middle, financial fraud, human-operated ransomware. Now, based on this coverage table, at a glance, I already know that how many active detection rules I have in my environments against the recommendation, right? So let me pick one of them. Let's say human-operated ransomware. I have 10 active detection rule in my environment, but potentially, right, I have the room to improve my coverage by deploying another 46 detection rule. And here there is this calculation behind the scenes based on my tactics and techniques and the algorithm to show you whether your coverage is high, medium, or low, right? Based on the active detection in your environment. So let me show you the details by picking one of the cards over here. So first of all, I'm gonna filter coverage, and I'm gonna pick this one, which is the human-operated ransomware. Now, similar to the data value optimizations cards that you saw earlier, you will find descriptions for you to better understand what is this about. You have the value, Here you saw in the slides earlier, right? So this is the spider map to showcase saw like before and after, right? So this is your current stage, right? In green, remember I have 10 detection rule, right? Currently, and the potential increment in the coverage would be the one that showed in purple, right? So if you want to have a breakdown of each detection rules against the minor tactics and techniques. So there is this table over here, which you could visit and, sort of like give you the breakdown of like what are the minor tactics and techniques for each that is covered. So this is kind of allows you to provide good insights, or even you could use it as the justification, right? If you want to, let's say, deploy further detection rules and connectors to increase the coverage. So here the actions is pretty straightforward and clear. So you could see that, hey, there's 46 new detection rules that you could install, right, deploy, and also activate it to improve the coverage. Now, similar to what I showed earlier in the data value optimization, so we have the direct link to the content hub. So here I'm gonna bring you to the how the content hub looks like. So similar to what you saw earlier, you list all the rules. Keep in mind that it's not just detection rule, but also connectors, right? But the experience is the same as what I showed you earlier back in the data value. But one of the benefits of this view is I will be able to find out, let's say, for example, I might already have some rules, right? Detection rules that I already installed and activated. At the same time, I might not have any rules, but let's say I might have a connector. So let's say I have this connector enabled, but perhaps I might have some of the rules. So let's say, for example, this one. So let me bring up the details. So you could see that, for this security event, I don't have this enabled, but I have the connector enabled, right? So this will give me also the information like what are the gaps that I have in my environment, right? Maybe I might have enabled a connector, but I didn't remember to like turn on certain detection rule, right? So this will also give me those insights, right, with this specific view. Okay, so that's the coverage optimization. So next, the last thing I want to show you is regarding API. All right, so early on, Michal mentioned about the availability of we have an API available. So you could use the API to interact with the SOC optimization programmatically. For example, you might want to build a custom report. Let's say you might want to interact with it by recalculating it. Now, I'm going to show you this workbook called Optimization Workbook. So this workbook has been around in the Content Hub since last year, and recently has been updated to version 1.4 by adding the SOC optimization tab. And all the data under SOC optimization here is actually retrieved from the API of this SOC optimization. So just want to show you like a quick example what you could achieve, right? Of course, I'm showing you in a workbook, but you could use, let's say, for example, Power BI or any custom reporting that you might want to build, right? So over here, as you could see, I'm able to build a report with the similar information that you saw earlier, right? With the status, for example, and then I'm able to drill down. Let's say I have the data value in one category, and I have the threat-based optimization in another category. And I can further drill down, create a pie chart, list all the items and and even perform filtering if I want to. So all this can be done programmatically thanks to the API available. For you guys to use to build like custom reporting. Okay, so that sums up my demo, and I will hand it back to Michal to talk about next steps, future plan. Michal, do you want to share about what's in for the future of this feature?
Thank you, Jeremy, and thank you for the very thorough demo. So I am going to reshare my slides. So let's talk a bit about future plans. First of all, I should say that for that as the intro mentioned, we have the private community where you can actually hear about more specific future plans and roadmaps and influence them as well, test them, give us their feedback, and really shape the future of this and every other feature. So you're very much invited. So what does the future hold? First of all, and very exciting, recommendations that are based on trends across similar customers. So we will be looking at all sorts of similarities. Of course, we should mention here there will be no PII used or any visibility into your logs specifically. We will be looking on trends across similar customers, helping you to decide on your next steps when considering new logs ingestion, for example, giving you a benchmark to your industry, and giving you visibility to more recommendations that you can either adopt, dismiss, or, as I mentioned before, use them as a conversation starter in your organization. Second of all, more types of recommendations and threat scenarios. So these are 2 types of recommendations, and this is just the beginning. So we will be releasing more types of recommendations as time progresses. And last but not least, ML and AI-based actionable insights. So actionable insights is, as I mentioned before, everything we will surface to you here is actionable, and you will see what is the action. We will guide you through it, but these recommendations will be based on more advanced tools. So we can give you even more insights and more visibility on how to really adjust all your security controls and processes in your environment. So stay tuned. And I'm giving this presentation back to the team.
Thank you so much. So we do have one additional question that's been submitted. It's by enabling all recommendations, could it cause an increase of the Sentinel price or other security components?
Okay, so the pricing currently is based on your billable log ingestion and your ingestion tier. So if you look at the threat-based recommendations, for example, and you see that you have a security coverage gap against, let's say, human-operated ransomware, and we suggest to add analytic rules to detect those threats, and they require logs, then if you choose to ingest those logs, this will cost you money based on our pricing structure. This will be a very minded decision that you will do, and it's as similar to the processes done today by the SOC when trying to understand where does their organization has security gaps. So this is from the logs perspective. Other than that, if you choose to enable more rules, then you choose to enable more rules, but this will not automatically cost you anything. So you can decide whether you would like to ingest more logs to be more secure, whether you would actually like to change the ingestion of logs that we give you the visibility that are not being used for security reasons, or anything in between. I hope this answers the question. We want to make sure that your investment, whether it's money, whether it's manpower, whether it's time, man or woman power, whether it's time, is well spent on what gives you the security coverage and the efficiency you need in your SOC.
That's great. Thank you so much. And it doesn't look like we have any other questions, so the team did a great job answering those along the way. Thank you, Michal and Jeremy, for being our experts today and for sharing this information with our community. Also, thank you to the Q&A team who also helped to answer questions and provide resources throughout the webinar. To all the listeners still on the line, if you're someone who wishes to aid in the protection of the world from cyber threats and desires to have a say in shaping our strategies, blueprints, and recommendations, then we invite you to become part of our security community. Together, we can make a global impact. So join us at aka.ms/securitycommunity. This is also where you'll be notified about upcoming webinars, events, and other announcements. Also, please take a moment to submit your webinar feedback at aka.ms/security-webinar-feedback. And for those of you who may have additional questions on the topic we just covered today, or other product-related questions, please feel free to raise them on our Microsoft Tech Community discussion space at aka.ms/Microsoft Sentinel Community. Thank you all for being part of our community and for joining us on these webinars. We hope to see you next time. Goodbye.